What if I told you there was a line on the Tampa Bay Lightning that has not allowed a goal in 68 minutes this postseason, yet they are down 1-0? Welcome back, hockey fans! Welcome in if this is your first time to the channel. I'm Josh. This is the Hockey Flow, your daily stop for all things hockey. Today, it's Friday, June 17th, 2022. Happy Friday, everyone. Again, thank you for joining me. We got a lot of fun things to talk about on Today in Hockey. And yes, there is a line on the Tampa Bay Lightning that has not allowed a goal in 68 minutes this postseason. Yet, they are down 1-0. We're going to talk about that today on our article Deep Dive, brought to you by ESPN.com. We're heading back to our good friend Greg Wyshnski. Excellent writer, but first we got to get to headlines, then we're going to preview Game 2. I got 4 things to watch, and we're going to pick a winner for you, of course, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. So let's get right into it, shall we? And before I forget, if you do enjoy the video, go ahead, like the video, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to keep bringing you content daily, keep you up to date with all things hockey, but I really do appreciate it. Helps us out a ton, especially as we're just getting started. But yeah, let's get into it, shall we? All right, headlines. First and foremost, Montreal Canadiens fans, you guys will be excited. Kent Hughes, the GM, announced there will be a captain. Now, who it is, we just can speculate. I think my money is on Nick Suzuki, a young lad. He signed long-term, so you got a face in place, and he's doing all the right things right now, too, which is really good to see. But Canadian fans, let me know in the comments, who are we going for? Who do we want to be our next captain? All right, New York Ranger fans, you guys will be pumped about this as well. Sammy Blais, I know he's been in the news for some odd reasons. We're not going to talk about that here, but he did sign a 1-year extension. He's going to be back next year. He is coming off of a long-term injury, towards ACL, but sounds like he should be okay for the start of the season. So he had some excellent highlights this season and did some good things for the Rangers. So Ranger fans, let me know in the comments. You guys pumped about Sammy Blais coming back? All right, Stanley Cup final preview. We got Game 2 tomorrow night, right? Avs Lightning. So we got to go into 4 things to watch. And I got to admit, we did okay with our lead up. We did an in-depth preview. So check that one out, definitely. But let's see if we can get these 4 things right as well, all right? So first and foremost, will Tampa Stars shine? So if we look at Game 1's score here, the Avs did win 4-3. And if you notice the score line and who scored these goals, we had no goals from Tampa Stars, right? Now, don't get me wrong, Colorado, Landeskog got one. We didn't see McKinnon, McCarr, but Tampa, where were the Stars? Not saying they didn't have an impact, but you want to see your Stars, make these. Make these highlight reel goals as well. Nikita Kucherov, my goodness, he had such an incredible handle and pass last game, and that's the impact these superstars can have, right? Now, it's the Stanley Cup final. This is the biggest stage. We talked about Steven Stamkos being opportunistic, right? Well, this is your chance, Putty. This is it. Come on, bud. But yeah, I'm very excited to see, will Tampa turn it around? Will that top line, put something in the net? Can the Avs keep up the pressure? I tell you what, from the second that puck dropped, it was back and forth, and the Avs top to bottom, we're putting the pressure on. They are so fast, and the Lightning just kind of looked like they weren't ready for it, right? So can the Avs do that again? Can they come out? Bednar has them so well coached. They come out so prepared, and they have a plan and they execute it. But a lot of that is those tools, right? They have the ability to be able to execute that plan because of their tools. So I'm excited to see. Is this going to be another barn burner right away? We'll find out within the first few minutes, I'm sure. Now, which role player is going to surprise us? Burakovsky was the winner in Game 1, gets the overtime. Excellent shot there. But who's going to do it in Game 2, right? This is the Stanley Cup Finals. This is where your name gets etched in history. So it never fails. The depth has to shine through. Now, which one of them is going to do that? Is it going to be Nichushkin again for the Avs? I don't know. He's just been so good. At what point do you stop calling him depth and just start calling him what he is, a top 6 forward? So, let me know in the comments which role player do you think is going to shine through? I really want to see one of these guys from our, spoiler alert, our shutdown line. I think that line is going to have an impact, and you'll see why in just a moment. But number 4, will Vasi dominate, right? The 4-3, I wouldn't say, maybe the second one was a little soft on Vasi, but in the grand scheme, Vasi had a fine game. This isn't necessarily on him. The Avalanche are just overwhelming, but he has the ability to dominate. He can do it. We've seen him do it in the past. Will he do it again? Gosh, I hope so. I just want to see it, right? I just want to see it as a neutral fan. Don't get me wrong. The Avs have a soft spot in my heart. Growing up, I loved them. But at the end of the day, I just want to see some excellent hockey, and I want to see 7 games, and I did pick the Lightning. Speaking of picks, we got to pick our game tomorrow. Right now, we're up 10 games over 500, 37-27. We're doing okay. I'm pretty happy with that. But who's going to win? So taking into all four things we just talked about, I say the Lightning are going to win. I think our stars are going to shine, right? That's what I asked. Are the stars going to shine? Yes. Stamkos, Kucherov, I say both get a goal. Lightning are going to pull this one out. Honestly, I just want an even series so we can get to that Game 7, right? Let's get to it. But, I do think for this one, the Lightning are going to come through. Even the series up 1-1, heading to Florida, baby. All right, article of the day. This is what you're here for. I know it. We're going back to ESPN.com. Man, we get some good pieces, especially from Greg Wyshnski. Thank you so much for doing this one, sir. How the Tampa Bay Lightning built a shutdown line on the fly and might change it up again. This is so interesting to me because coaching decisions don't get a ton of praise, right? Like we always analyze, we overanalyze, but it's rare when we acknowledge a coach for making the really right decision. And this is a prime example. And this is something that isn't an established line, right? So the line that we're talking about is Alex Killorn, Brandon Hagel, and Anthony Cirelli, right? These three are your underachievers, or not underachievers, underappreciated gentlemen on the team. They do the dirty work. They're excellent defensively, maybe not going to score the goals, right? But that was the key. That was the secret to the Tampa Bay Lightning, winning back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals. They had that checking line. Yanni Gourde, Blake Coleman, and Barclay Goodrow, my goodness, they shut people down defensively. And when they lost all three players, they had to replace that checking line. We saw in the regular season, they kind of struggled to do so, right? And the Lightning weren't at the top of the power rankings all season, at times, right? They looked great, but they went through ups and downs, just like every team. But they were trying to find their identity, and part of it was this checking line. So how do you replace that? Well, how about Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals on the fly? Coach John Cooper just hops in there and says, you know what, this isn't working. We have to shut New York down. He has to counter Zibanejad's line. So he puts Killorn, Brandon Hagel, and Anthony Cirelli together on the fly, and since then, they haven't allowed a goal. 68 minutes without allowing a goal, even against that Avs team. This line, I think, is the real deal. Alex Killorn. So the article itself talks about how we put together the line, how the Lightning put together this line. So let's get into it. Alex Killorn, he was drafted. He's a lifelong Bolt, third-round pick, right? But he has no goals. Only 4 assists so far. It's not about the scoring. And Killorn could have left, right? We've seen the exodus from other players. We see Goodrow, we saw Coleman, we saw Tyler Johnson leave too. That exodus is possible, right? Killorn could have left, but he understands what the Lightning are trying to accomplish. It's not about the number next to your name. It's about making sure that you have more numbers next to your name, your team name, than the other team has next to theirs, right? It's all about the team winning. The article goes into great detail, and it's awesome to see that stuff and hear that team mentality. But at the end of the day, sometimes as a fan, you look at the individual, right, and you look at their numbers, and it's not as impressive as what you'd like it to be. So 0 goals, 4 assists. Now, how about Brandon Hagel? Brandon Hagel was playing great this season for the Chicago Blackhawks. This was actually a surprise trade. They actually traded for him just before the deadline for 2 firsts and 2 players, right? So we give up Radish and defender, and for Hagel, he said it's all about fitting in. He didn't make the big splash. He had, I think it was 4 goals in 22 games, something like that. Let me know in the comments if I got that one right. But Brandon Hagel was kind of expected to fill in and make an impact, right? And he didn't necessarily do that. Had some great back and forth in that New York Rangers series, and has now found his identity with this shutdown line that they've developed. But for him, it was all about fitting in, and the article talks about that. He admits that he didn't, live necessarily up to even his own expectations right away, but he's trying to fit in with this established veteran team, 2 straight Stanley Cup titles. Where do I fit in this, right? I've never been here. I don't know what I'm doing, so really neat to see that angle too, right? And last but not least, I'm a big fan of it. Fans of the channel, you guys know we'll talk about him again, I'm sure too. Anthony Cirelli, defensive gem. Honestly, could have been up for the Selke, right? Like drafted third. He was another one that was drafted in the 3rd round. So let's talk about that for a second. The Tampa Bay Lightning have drafted extremely well. We have two 3rd-round picks anchoring your shutdown line, right? That's so cool. But again, his game also evolved in the NHL. Those that know Anthony Cirelli know he was more of a scorer, more offensively minded in his youth ranks, and then gets to the NHL. And, he hasn't necessarily put up the points, right? And that's why maybe Cooper mentions in the article, maybe that's why he hasn't gotten the recognition that he deserves, because he hasn't put up the points. But defensively, Cooper would take Cirelli over almost anyone. He says he belongs in that conversation with Bergeron and Barkov. And, it's tough watching the games and seeing his numbers. Look right here. We left the athletic player card for Cirelli. His defense is through the roof, right? That's a lot of yellow. We don't see that. So this line was put together by the Tampa Bay Lightning drafting well and then making a gutsy call at the deadline, right? Giving up 2 firsts and 2 players for just one person. Man, you better have a return on that investment. Now, don't get me wrong. They have Hagel under control, but this line has really been a difference, and I expect them to show up and show out tomorrow in Game 2. I would like to see Killorn get a goal. Let's get him off the schneid. Lightning win, Killorn gets a goal, and then the Avalanche can go back and have some fun in Florida, okay? But let me know who you think is the most important to this shutdown line. Is it maybe someone I didn't even mention, right? This could change up again. Is there someone on the Lightning that you think would fit in this better? Let me know, Lightning fans. I would love to hear what you have to say. But that's going to do it for the video today. I really appreciate you sticking with me to the end. We are doing a giveaway at the channel right now. We're on that race to 100 subscribers, and we're getting there. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate the support. Once we get a little closer, I'll let you know if there's anything else we need to do besides just being sub. Maybe I'll just do a picker wheel, but we're going to give away something hockey related. Going to be a jersey, an autographed puck, maybe just a gift card, let you guys choose. But whatever it is, going to be hockey related and going to show that I appreciate you guys. So until tomorrow, cheers!